Hello vinyl community, this is Randy. Back today with another video. I picked up some records during the month of May. Well, I mean, I didn't pick them up, they were delivered to me. I got a few records during the month of May, through the mail. So, as far as another record stores here in Nashville have not reopened, at least according to the website, hasn't reopened yet, but I didn't check today. So, got just a few records during the month of May, so I think I'm going to show those to you today. The first one, the one that we're hearing right now, is Goodbye June. Magic Valley is the name of this record. This is a record I showed, actually, in my last video. This is one of the ones that Vinyl Richie sent me. I had no familiarity with this band at all. But you heard what they sound like, so that is what they sound like. Yeah, it's old-time rock and roll. I'd call it like 70s rock, like almost like hard and heavy rock, I guess. The vocals, the guy really sounds a lot like AC/DC singer. The second one, not Bon Scott, Brian Robertson. I think he does sound a lot like him. So. Yeah, so this is cool. This is straight ahead rock and roll. You don't have some songs that are a little bit more reflective and stuff, but yeah, this is like an old time party record. Glad to get this. It sounds good. I hoped that I would get in the mail this week, but it hasn't arrived yet. But I'm getting a record in the mail soon. It's going to be a perfect companion piece for this. It's by a band called Dirty Honey. If you saw the video from Tone Scott, just about a week or so ago, he did a feature on that band. He showed them live, and so they were a lot like this, old time, straight ahead rock and roll bands. So should be getting that this week, so I'll show that when I get it. Yeah, Goodbye June. So straight ahead rock and roll. Thanks very much for that one, Vinyl Rich. I received in the mail really pretty much towards the beginning of the month. This is Jimi Hendrix 7-inch single. I got this when I ordered another record off of a vendor in Discogs, and so I just checked to see if there was anything else I might want to get to go with that, since I was already paying for the shipping, and he had this one. This is a 2012 release. I think it might have been a record store day release. It is a song that came from this album, which you can hardly see it, but I'm not sure what the name of that album was, but this came from that. So, Bleeding Heart. This is a Elmore James song. So, it's about 7 minutes long, and it rocks. I mean, it's, blues. And Jimmy gets to play live guitar on it, so sounds fantastic. Side 2 is called Jam 202, so yeah, jam song. So yeah, Jimi Hendrix. That's what this looks like. The record that I ordered, I got that with, is Deep Purple. Self-titled. So in my last video I said that I had received also from Vinyl Rich Shades of Deep Purple to complete my Deep Purple collection. I got this one earlier in the month, so these two completed it. I hadn't shown this one before, and there was a lot of trouble getting this record. I actually ordered it from another vendor, and I just didn't hear anything about it for like 2 weeks, and finally I got a message from Discogs saying that the record was no longer available. So I really didn't, I haven't ever had that experience before where a record seemed to be available, but that really wasn't. But I guess there was some glitch. Then I ordered it from another vendor who had this one, which is, you can see that this cover is basically in perfect shape. I think this is an original issue from 1969. It has this great album cover. And, yeah, so I was glad to get this one. I found that I really like these first three Deep Purple albums. For some reason, it seems as though maybe they don't get as much, I don't know, respect or something as the Mark II Deep Purple when Ian Gillan took over as the singer. But Rod Evans is a great singer. I guess he went on to sing in Captain Beyond after he got done with Deep Purple. So, fantastic singer. The songs on here sound great. Starts out with Chasing Shadows, written by John Lord. Good, sounds like Deep Purple. It really does. Sounds good. Melania, which is a Donovan song that they're covering on here, which I liked a lot. The Painter was really good. Really, my only problem with this album is the very last song on side 2, April. It was a really long song and has some like harpsichord or something. It's sort of like classical music mixed in with it. So part of it's great with Richie Blackmore guitar work, but it's a really long song, and part of that is not so great. But overall, this album I've really liked a lot. So I am going to be doing a Deep Purple countdown and getting these 3 albums. The first 3 has just kind of making it more difficult because I'm liking a lot more. They're better than I thought they were going to be. So obviously that's a good thing. This record is on Tetragrammaton. I checked the Grammys webpage earlier in May to see if they were open yet or what was going on over there, and it looks like they've basically put their whole inventory online, and they're selling records online now, so you can just submit your order online and either go by and pick it up or they'll mail it to you. So yeah, there's a lot of records online that you can look at, and obviously it's just not the same as going and browsing for real. But I did want to support the store, so I ordered a couple of records from them. So I got this Of Montreal record, Satanic Panic in the Attic. Of Montreal is a band from Athens, Georgia that I've been listening to since January of this year. I got their new record, You Are Fun, which came out this year, so that really, I really liked it a lot. So I went back and got an older record of theirs, which I can't think of the name of it right now. That one was kind of different and was maybe not quite as easy to listen to, so it kind of left me wondering. But then Sam did a retrospective of all of the songs for Of Montreal and sort of described each one. And they're a band that has a lot of records that have come out, and they're wide-ranging in their styles. So Sam at what is his name? Oh, the Vinyl Douche. Sam did that review, so that was very helpful. Also, when I showed the other Of Montreal record that I have, Digital Gramophone actually asked me, was talking about them in the comments and said something about the one that I can't remember the name of right now and how that was part of a trilogy. But then he also asked, he wondered how I'd feel about if I heard this record. They didn't really say anything about it, so after seeing Sam's video and then assuming that was a recommendation from Digital Gramophone, I got this one, and this was just fantastic. This is just such a great album. I'm really liking this a lot. Sounds like, I mean, to me, the closest association is like 60s psychedelia, or just even more like bubblegum music or something, kind of like some really rich vocal harmonies, sort of like maybe like The Association or something like that. But really, it's almost more than anything, it reminds me of like bubblegum music. So yeah, I've really been listening to this. This fantastic album cover, which is done by the brother of the guy. This band, it's called a band Of Montreal, but it's really one guy, Kevin Barnes. Evidently, he started out with a band, but he was, I guess, doing all the writing and singing, and eventually just evolved where he was doing everything by himself in the studio. So this was recorded August 2003 to January 2004. And it says all instruments played by Kevin, except for there's some other parts, a few other people helping, but it's mostly all him. So, yeah, and then his brother does all this great artwork. So, yeah, psychedelic pop sounding record. Starts out with Disconnected Dots, which is just the best album opener. I mean, this is a great song. The second song is Lethargic Bliss, which is a perfect description of that song. He's singing about the bliss of being in love. And, well, I just like everything about this record. Yeah. So, of Montreal. This record came out in 2003. Here's what it looks like. So, really excellent record. So I ordered that one from Grimy while I was ordering it. They had actually quite a few of Montreal records there. So another one that was part of, sort of, I guess these are sort of a trilogy too. This one's called Sunlandic Twins. And I like this one just as much. The Sunlandic Twins. So, yeah, once again, just poppy sounding, sort of psychedelic rock. Sounds like it could have been produced in the 60s. And, yeah, I just like everything about the second song in here. I Was Never Young, just immediately catchy. Just a hooky song that draws you in. And this is actually a 2-record set. This one has a second record. It's called a bonus EP, which has 5 more songs on it. So those are all good too. So another thing about all of these of Montreal records I've got 4 of them now, is that the sound on them, all of them is just absolutely perfect. Just no clicks or pops at all. Just dead silent between songs. Here's what the other side is etched. It's hard to get a good. Well, I can't even. But there is an etching on this side. I can't get it to show up there. There you go. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so this side is etched. Yeah, so of Montreal. So I got those 2 albums, and I've got Sam's video to use as sort of a guide, because I'm sure I'm going to pick up more of Montreal. I could have gone ahead and ordered a couple more that day, but you know, one thing I found when I've gotten like a box, like for instance that Kinks set, the mono box of the Kinks, I really wasn't familiar with those. I've listened to them all. I mean, they all sound great, but the thing is, when I get so many records by one band at the same time, it's hard to differentiate one album from another. So I'm going to probably pick this of Montreal catalog up slowly, so that I can really, you know, keep the records separated in my mind. But yeah, the ones I've gotten so far are just great. So, thanks very much for the guide on that, Sam. Just want to show this record again. This is one that Vinyl Rich sent, so I have listened to this since then, and I had heard this before. I just had not listened to it for a long time. Yeah, this is a very psychedelic sounding record from 1967, I believe, or 1968. Arthur Brown is this wild looking guy, and evidently he wore a mask when he was on stage. Fire was the big hit song. Yeah, this is very psychedelic sounding. Arthur Brown, he has this very, almost like an operatic type voice, very theatrical sounding, very dramatic. It's really excellent voice. He's a great singer. Another good thing about this band is that the organist is Vincent Crane, who went on to be the organist and, you know, the main guy really for Tonic Rooster. So I'm not sure what happened. He didn't stay with Arthur Brown, but made this record and then moved on. So I guess another sort of attraction on this one is side 2. Starts out with I Put a Spell on You, Screaming Jay Hawkins song. There's also a James Brown cover on here of Money. And yeah, so yeah, thanks for sending this one, Vinyl Rich. I've been listening to this and continue to listen to that one some more. This came with the original. I think this is an original 1968 issue on Track Records. It's in pristine shape. No clicks or pops. Sounds really great. I'm glad to get that one. This is one that's been shown in the vinyl community quite a bit, and I had heard it before, but I just kind of forgotten about it. This is the big one that Vinyl Rich sent me, and I just had to come back and talk about this one because it's just so awesome. This is probably going to be my album of the year. It's truly unforgettable. It's one of those records that has side 1 back to side 4, and then the second album has sides 2 and 3 on it. So the first 2 sides of this record are songs, just regular songs. They're from the late 1960s. They sound, to me, they go along with Of Montreal very well. A lot of them have that sunshine pop feeling. Some really beautiful vocals on here. Sung on here, What a Day for Me. Just beautiful. Side 3 of this album is spoken word. It is, I suppose it's Harumi talking with another person who sort of leads the conversation, and it's, I guess maybe like a Zen conversation or something. It really sounds like something that Jack Kerouac would have enjoyed listening to and participating in. So I really like that spoken word side a lot. The fourth side is spoken word too, but that's mostly in Japanese. I have to listen to that again because there may be English mixed in. That was a little bit confusing for me, so I'll have to give that one another try. But this is just a great album. Just so glad to get this one. Lots of text down here. Talking about it. So inner sleeve on this one. Looks like, so just a beautiful album. So happy to have gotten that one. This is on this Verve Forecast. When I had no idea what it was when I did the unboxing, and you know, I saw Verve Forecast, so I was thinking, well, I mean, it must be jazz. But it really is, it's not jazz at all. Yeah. So that is a 2-record set. And the last record that I got that I'm going to show you today is another one that I ordered from the mail. I ordered it from the Discogs vendor, and this was the only record I got. I just got this one. So happy to find this one. This is Charlie Parker with Strings. This record has sort of like 2 names. It was originally released on Clef in 1953, called Charlie Parker with Strings. It had a completely different album cover, one that I like much better. But there were a couple of those for sale on Discogs, but in very good shape. They were like over $100, so I didn't want to do that. So I found this one at a very reasonable price, and so I got it. And as you can see, the cover is basically mint, and the record sounds great too. So this is Charlie Parker playing with strings, basically playing with an orchestra. So it's kind of like as if Frank Sinatra were recording with an orchestra, and you know, the orchestra plays the song as written, all the arrangements, and then Frank sings on top of it. Well, instead of having Frank sing, you just get Charlie Parker playing the melody of the song. So, you know, you really hear his tone and everything. But I guess, you know, really any good saxophone player could have done that. But in addition to just playing the song, he also does some solos in each part. And it's pretty clearly Charlie Parker. I mean, it's like bop solos mixed in on top of the orchestral music. So so you get the really beautiful saxophone playing, Charlie Parker, alto sax player, leader in the bebop movement from the early 40s, right up, you know, through his death in 1955. So this recorded in 1952. And some of the highlights on here, April in Paris. Of course, sounds great, but the one I think I really like the best maybe is I'll Remember April, the very last song on the album. So here's the track listing. You can see for yourself what's on here. So yeah, they're pretty straightforward orchestral renditions of the song with Charlie playing the lead. So, sounds great. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's it. So, yeah, that is on Verve. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the month of May. Not too many records. I hope the record stores open up soon because, yeah, you can order records. Well, I've sort of had the same thing that some other people have mentioned too. That, you know, there's a few records that I'm waiting on and things like that. And then some records I think have been delayed just for various reasons. So, yeah, not too many records during the month of May, but high quality. Quality, I guess, is what counts. So, yeah, so thanks very much for watching. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Let me know what you think about these records. And, yeah, that's it. Have a great day.